The following local program is brought to you by Central Texas College's Department of Television and Radio Broadcasting, providing educational, creative classes and hands-on experience for Central Texas students and helping shape the creative minds of the future. For more information, visit the Central Texas College website at www.ctcd.edu/telecom.
Hello, I'm Dr. Jose Martinez. I'll be your host today for Perspectives, and with me I have two guests. We're going to be looking at Hispanic Heritage Month, and Dr. Daniel Kott here, and also Ruby Novoa as well. And both of them are going to be discussing a number of things. In fact, both of them are involved and have been for a good number of years involved in the community with a number of not just Hispanic issues, culture and so forth, but other cultures also as well. But that's some of what they're going to talk about to a certain extent. But for the most part, we're going to focus on a number of things that have to do with Hispanics overall. Hispanic Heritage Month, which runs from September the 15th through October the 15th. Basically, it starts in a way with September the 16th, which is the Independence Day for Mexico, and then it's called the Hispanic Heritage Month, because it runs through October the 15th. So anyway, Dr. Kott, you want to go ahead and start off with what you do and the organization?
I'm Dr. Daniel Kott, Director of MECA, MECATX, that stands for Multi-Educational, Cross-Cultural, and Arts Association of Central Texas. Pretty long, mouthful. Therefore, we shorten it to MECATX. We've been around since 1980 in Killeen, teaching international folk music and dance. So we've been doing it a long time. We have a lot of inventory of traditional dress and instruments. We produce most of our own music, to include DVDs and CDs to teach the younger students. We also recently moved into STEM, as we changed their name from multi-ethnic to multi-educational. So to follow the flow, STEM is science, technology, engineering, math, is in the educational and academic world. Then recently, to be a little bit more dynamic on it, they've added A, the arts. So that included us, and I was a previous engineer in the Army. So we started adding engineering, technology, computer math, certain maths to our mentorship. We mentor many young students for different reasons and different ways. And we teach senior citizens also, those of us who have gray hair, at the Lions Club Park Senior Citizen Center. And we try to make sure that the senior citizens mix with the young children. So we've got accordion players who are 70 and 80 who are playing accordion with an 8-year-old. Mm-hmm. So anyway, I'll pass it on to Ruby there. She teaches dance for us. And she also plays a couple instruments. So, Ruby, you can talk about your students.
Sure, I'd be glad to. Again, my name is Ruby Novoa, and I have been, as a volunteer, teaching with Dr. Kott's organization for quite some time. I believe I started in 2003, 2004. And I did take a short break in between, but I have recently come back, and I pretty much just picked up where I left off. I started teaching the traditional Mexican folk dances that most people are used to seeing, especially around 16 de septiembre. And it's, as Dr. Kott said, our dancers, our performers span a great age range. We have dancers as young as 6, dancing with sometimes adult parents, and there was a time still when Dr. Kott, even, who's a great grandfather now, danced with us. And so I also assist with teaching music, and in high school I took a year of guitar, and I think I picked up pretty well on it, and then when I met your organization, I went ahead and picked up on it again, and now I am working with a few students. One is, I believe, 10. The other, she has a little brother, probably around 6, 7, 8-year-old range, playing stringed instruments, and I assist them in the basics, the basic principles of stringed instruments, knowing chords, how to use their chord chart, finger placement. And another focus, personal focus that I have anyways, is trying to help the students to understand the cultural backgrounds of all the dances that we perform and all the music that we teach. It helps us to pass that information on to the next generation. We don't want to lose this knowledge and this information just because of our failure to pass it on. And so little by little, we are doing that, and I think it's part of the reason why you do focus on the multi-generational aspect. As Dr. Kott mentioned, right now we are in the middle of Hispanic Heritage Month, which does run through September 15th through October 15th, and this is probably one of our busiest months of the year. We just recently had a performance on Saturday in Nolanville, and actually here's a good time to mention that we don't just focus on the city of Killeen, we focus on the Central Texas area in general. We go Temple, Nolanville, Killeen, Copperas Cove, Burnett. We spend a lot of time in Burnett. We enjoy going there. They're very welcoming there. And in the past, we've worked in San Antonio. We've gone to Dallas, and so our focus spans the entire Central Texas area, and our families, thankfully, are willing to go with us. They travel with us, and they enjoy having their children participate in these events. And so, I'm not sure if there's, sorry, I just drew a blank.
I'll pick up there.
Yes.
We are multi-ethnic, so we just
Yes.
don't teach one. She's in a Mexican charro suit,
Yes.
charra for female, and she also is learning to play the guitarrón
Yeah.
for the mariachi. We have a mariachi in our group. We have accordionists who play conjunto. I'm in a Panamanian traditional dress, and that's a Panamanian hat there.
Yes.
In October, we do programs for Panamanian Independence Day, also during the Hispanic
correct.
month. We teach their dances. I spent 5 years in Panama, studied their music and dance all the time I was down there, so I've got a tremendous library of resources related to that. In October also, my background happens to be German and Irish, so we will be doing an Oktoberfest program, playing German Oompa music with the brass bands that we have, and teaching German dances. The boys will be learning the traditional Lederhosen. Thanks to Killeen Arts Commission, we've gotten a fair amount of money in the past to buy a lot of beautiful costumes, including charro suits. So we've got 2 different sets of charro suits and so on. And we do have costumes from around the world. We've got Japanese costumes, Hawaiian costumes.
I'm glad you mentioned all that, because that's actually something I was going to emphasize. I'm glad you mentioned about the German part. I didn't want to emphasize too much as to whether you were German or not or so, but quite a lot of different cultures. Actually, Killeen itself is often referred to as a multicultural city, or one of the most diverse cities in the country as well. And quite a number, I think, different cultures. There's on September the 24th, I think it is, which might be after, or rather by the time this airs, might have already occurred. But there's going to be at the Civic Center a kind of celebration from different countries, Latin American countries.
From 3 particular countries, Argentina, Peru, and Colombia, which, by the way, my husband, Orlando Novoa, is Colombian born and raised, so we'll probably be attending this event. It's hosted by the Sociedad Cultura Hispanoamericana of Killeen, SCH, and it's a 5-hour-long program. And you were sharing with me that you had attended one in the past, and that the food was great.
The food. Do you remember the food?
I'm looking forward to that. And also, I'm really looking forward as a volunteer dance instructor. I'm really looking forward to the performances that they'll be having. They'll be having, from what I was told, these 3 countries will be represented there by different dance groups. And so I am really excited to be able to take that those performances and bring them back to our organization and teach them to our dancers.
Actually, the performances are, and they've often been from the various countries, various cultures. The food that we mentioned earlier, also from the different nationalities, different cultures also as well. It goes on for a number of hours, and it's at the Civic Center. If you don't get to go this particular year, next year it's going to be at about the same time, right? In September or so. Civic Center usually.
Their program?
Yeah,
their program
usually
is
at about
always
that time.
Hispanic month time,
Yeah.
usually in September.
Yeah. So that's a good thing. And I did want to mention also that as far as performances, one of the first times that I saw you perform was quite a number of years ago and all, and that was at UMHB at the time. And you're pretty good at that. In fact, it came out in the paper. Actually, you were featured actually, as far as that is concerned.
A couple times, yes. I didn't mention that I graduated from University of Mary Hardin Baylor, where Dr. Martinez was a professor, one of my professors, and I really enjoyed attending your event and performing for UMHB. Who knows, maybe we can go back again sometime.
I did want to add, though, real quickly, that you're pursuing a master's degree, right?
I am.
Well.
I actually graduated with my bachelor's in sociology with a minor in history, and I believe I'm pretty much convinced now that I would like to pursue history as my my master's focus.
Well, one thing that I did mention earlier when we were discussing that, I'm a history major also.
Oh,
as well.
really? That's interesting.
History major, sociology, psychology, and education.
Oh,
I got
okay.
four degrees.
Wow.
But anyway, we're glad that both of you you've done quite a lot actually. And Dr. Kott, I did want to mention real briefly, for whatever it's worth, you've done quite a lot over the years in the community, and I think that I don't know if you've been recognized
Yes,
as much, but you should,
I have
because
what I call Wall of Fame at home.
you do.
Many plaques, many certificates.
That's
so
good.
usually,
Yeah.
when you do something, you usually get some kind of recognition. I was
of
going to say
sorts.
award, but
Yeah,
it's probably
award.
more recognition. And I've had an interesting career. In that I was an engineer for 4 years in the Army. Then I was worked in a medical lab for 7 years. So I'm very much involved with science. And then I was a physician for 25 years plus, 34-year total in the U.S. Army. And so from the standpoint of science and technology, I think I have a lot to offer. And that's why we try to get all of our students that are being mentored in music, in dance, and in technology. This robot here was built by students. We have 5 of them that they came as kits, and they built them, and then they must learn to program. They're all programmed with computer programming and so on. So on the front here is a very unique camera. That is a video camera, and it transmits the signal to our monitors and so on. Here's a speaker. They learn to do what we call MIDI music, to program the music in a computer fashion. So when it starts up, it plays a song of their choice. And then they're learning to bowl with these. They're learning to do various things. And we add to that our drones. Last time when we were on the program, we talked about drones.
Right.
And the drones have cameras and can follow them around. We have competition between the students with the drones and the robots. They also build the drones and program them. Everything that we have, they have to learn to program in either C++, mostly, or in Python, or graphic for the younger ones, Scratch and Snap.
You know, you've been on our program a couple of times, and that some of that has been from quite some years ago. We started this program in 2001, and Joe Landes was the host at that time. And recently, for those who may not be aware, he passed away, I think, a few months ago. So for those who may not know, he got this program going, and you knew him quite well also. I did also as well. In fact, I think you, Ruby, were in a program here with him as well. But I wanted to mention that for those who may not have known that, and I'm glad that he did get things going here for the program.
He was on the board of directors of MECA.
Right.
Maybe 5-10 years.
Yeah. And it reminds me also of the importance of this program. Right now, the issue of DACA, for example, deferred action for childhood arrivals, it's a big issue out there. And basically, this program, it's not just it's in regard to Hispanics, but quite a number, multicultural again, to be exact. And these folks that come over, whether documented or not and all, they're basically, in a way, the way I look at it is that they're, and I think the way you might look at it also, to be respected as well. And to get an education also, they came here, were brought here by their parents and all. So just wanted to add that because it's a big issue out there and it's quite important overall.
I'd like to say that to get a hold of us, we're available. We do not charge for our services. We get grants and funding. We're on YouTube, MECATX channel, YouTube channel, MECATX. We have a website, www.mecatx.ning.com. And I'm Dr. Daniel F. Kott, so you can get me at dfkott@aol.com. So we have many ways for you to contact us. You can see what we're doing on YouTube. We've got about 400 videos. Some of them have been used 300,000-400,000 times. So we are outreaching to the world, and we hear back from the world, interesting enough. One of the German dances we're going to do in October actually was learned in a school in Vietnam from our video, and then they sent the video back to me to show us what they learned over there. We don't know them. They just did it, learned it, and sent it back. One of the most viewed on there for whatever reason is La Cucaracha. It's got about 310,000 views.
Is that right?
So it's interesting to be able to outreach through technology now. We also can webcast. Some of our programs are webcast live on Ustream, www.ustream.tv, and now on Facebook. So now many of our members take their phone and everything we do. When we're on a program, when I go home, I'll see the program that they did live with their phones on Facebook. So technology is moving forward.
Something along those lines. I know we have a couple of performers that work with us who were with us several years ago, and then their family PCS'd, and while they were stationed in their new base, continued taking lessons from you here in Killeen via the internet.
Yeah, I have two girls. The father's in the military, so they were here. The mother's Mexican background, the father's German. So I've taught them accordion when they were here, and then while they were in Virginia, every Monday night for 3 years, they took an accordion lesson from me over the computer.
Yes.
And now they're back, and they're very good accordion players.
Yes, they are.
And they're doing Mexican, and they'll be doing German dances in October and playing German music.
Yeah, that's in October, right? In conjunction with Oktoberfest, right?
October is the time, in most countries, October is the time, like Thanksgiving, the fall festival, the raising the crops, and so on. And that's when the Germans get the crops to make their beer. So beer and Oktoberfest go hand in hand, and with that comes